New developments late this afternoon in the Mar-a-Lago documents case. CNN has learned the Justice Department's attempt to hold the former president and his office in contempt for actions in the wake of the FBI search in August has failed. This is a special prosecutor, of course, weighs charges on the larger matter of whether the former president broke the law. I want to start right now with CNN's Jessica Schneider and the judge's decision on contempt. What happened, Jessica?
Yeah, Anderson, so prosecutors really wanted this judge to take essentially drastic action against Trump and his team, hold them in contempt for not fully complying with that subpoena for the classified documents, because of course DOJ still isn't confident that they have all the documents. So instead, what unfolded in this court hearing, our team is learning, is that this judge not only didn't hold Trump in contempt, at least not yet, but she also pushed back multiple times. And in particular, she was very bothered about why prosecutors were stuck on getting someone from Trump's legal team to attest that all classified documents had been returned, because she pointed out that Trump's team really appears to be working to make sure they're returned, because as recently as last month, they hired that team to search locations in New York, New Jersey, and Florida. They ended up finding 2 classified documents, and then they returned them to investigators. So that was one sticking point for the judge here. And in the end, the judge didn't rule for contempt and instead urged DOJ and Trump's team to keep working through this together before any orders issued. So Anderson, at this point, it seems that DOJ and Trump's team, they'll have to coordinate and cooperate a bit more, even though it's clear DOJ really believed before today's hearing that they were at an impasse. So we'll see what happens now, but the judge for now is saying, I'm staying out of it.
Has the Department of Justice reacted?
No, so there's been no comment from DOJ. They've been quiet throughout this process, especially because, this has all been under seal, out of public view. This court hearing today was not open to the public. So the question at this point is, does DOJ get a lot more forceful with this, perhaps? The judge not issuing that contempt of court order. So maybe will DOJ have to move forward, even drastically secure another search warrant here for another one of Trump's other properties? Or will this back and forth dialogue between the two sides yield something, despite the fact that up to this point and for many months it really hasn't, at least to DOJ's satisfaction here.
Yeah, Jessica Schneider, appreciate the update. Thank you. Joining us now, defense attorney and former federal prosecutor Sean Wu, also CNN political analyst and New York Times senior Washington correspondent Maggie Haberman. So Sean, did the ruling by the judge surprise you?
Not really. It seems that DOJ really wanted the judge to kind of do their work for them here, and the judge is like, it's up to you folks. They clearly have the ability to force things, as Jessica was just reporting. I mean, this is a situation, Anderson, where they had already had probable cause for a search warrant. They still don't think they've gotten all the results, and they have Trump's own lawyers doing a search after the search warrants, which I find kind of bizarre, actually. It's one thing when you're negotiating up front. Yes, we've gotten a subpoena, we're going to do a due diligence search, but this is after a search warrant already, and they found more documents at I believe it was a GSA facility. So it's a very odd predicament that DOJ finds itself in.
Maggie, you heard what Shan said. I mean, how is the ruling being viewed by the former president and those in his orbit? Do we know?
To be clear, Anderson, we don't actually know what happened in court because, as was noted before, these are sealed proceedings. We know what we are being told, and our understanding is that the judge did not choose to side with DOJ today. We don't know whether that will happen in the future, as others have said tonight, and it absolutely could, but the Trump team is treating this as if it is a huge win for them, and they have had few wins lately, so I understand why. I think that from their perspective, they think that this punts things for another day. But again, the ball really is in DOJ's court at the moment because DOJ could, as Shan said, go into his properties again. Now, we had been told many weeks ago there was no recent probable cause to search Bedminster or Trump Tower. But does what happened with the finding the at least 2 documents at this GSA-run store or operated or paid for storage facility give them probable cause? I don't know, and I think that's something DOJ is going to weigh.
And Shan, just legally speaking, what are the possible next moves for the DOJ?
I think that they certainly could look to see if they have probable cause for another search warrant. I mean, a normal situation where someone is suspected of having stolen something, you would look at all their properties, not just one. But I think they also, of course, have on the plate whether they can just move ahead to a charging decision too. There's nothing wrong with contemporaneously continuing to negotiate. I mean, in some ways, they're building a record of their good faith, of the various inconsistencies being said. It's so unusual that Trump's team cannot produce someone to be the custodian of records. I mean, it's quite symbolic. It really indicates that nobody has custody of the records. They don't know where they are. And that has to be very alarming for DOJ and puts a lot of pressure on them to decide what to do next to safeguard these really sensitive materials.
Shan, what I don't understand though, I mean, if there's no lawyers willing to sign that all the documents have been turned over on for the Trump side, why is that the DOJ's fault? Is it? I mean, shouldn't there be? I mean, is there no penalty for the Trump team to not have somebody who can say categorically everything's returned?
It's definitely not the DOJ's fault, but I think what the penalty would be, frankly, is that they might decide to charge on what they have at this point. If the idea here is they want to primarily focus on safeguarding the documents, so you wouldn't want to charge too early because we've got a few documents that were mishandled. We want to make sure we've got everything first. They seem like they've run up against a brick wall with that.
And Maggie, I mean, sources are telling CNN that the Chief Judge Beryl Howell pressed the Trump team and the DOJ to work together to find a mutually agreeable resolution. It seems like there is a lot of animosity between the two parties.
There's no question about that. There's no question about that, Anderson, and we have similar reporting. The DOJ does not trust the Trump team, and it is understandable why they don't. National Archives have been asking for these documents back for close to a year. Once boxes were returned in January, there were, dozens of classified documents in there. A subpoena was issued. An ascertainment was signed by a Trump lawyer saying they had returned all of the classified documents at Mar-a-Lago, and then the DOJ, during a search in August, found more than 100 additional documents. So there's a reason why DOJ does not feel it can trust the Trump team, and I think that is part of why they turned to the judge. I think the judge is loath to make that kind of a decision right now without further discussion between the sides, but it has been very ugly between them, as you say, for several weeks.
Yeah. Maggie Haberman, Shan Wu, appreciate it. Thank you.